This is Suzanne. It's great to have you on, and I'm realizing I don't have to wait for a couple of seconds, that you're just going to be on right away, even though that little thing keeps turning and spinning. So today, oh my gosh, I am so excited to be able to talk to you again today and be live on Rich Girl Workshop and have another series of strong women and what that really means to all of us. So thank you for commenting. Thank you for commenting on how you were taught love. What is it and what it is not? So type in while we're talking today. Type in our comments. Would love to hear from you. I know everybody who is on this now and in the near future, in the next couple of days that come on, appreciate the comments very much so. I mean, we all need that feedback, don't we? And you talk about feedback, please go to YouTube, Suzanne Brothers, Rich Girl, and subscribe, because that's where a bulk of these past, for the last year and a half, recordings are. And if you subscribe to it, then it lifts the boost, and that makes it easier for everybody else to find as well. Okay, so if you'll do that, that would be great. I appreciate your comments. We have gone live today, and I'm going to look for your comments because sometimes that has been a challenge. Jerry, you're the first one on. Thank you for saying hi to me today. So we're going to start, and feel free to just comment like crazy. So we first learn our first love is from our parents, isn't it? And in most healthy homes, there is love. We might fight a little bit, we make peace, we have some sacrifices, but most often a healthy family returns to love. And it is these safe and warming elements of nature and nurture that really develops healthy children into healthy adults. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my story, because a lot of times I feel like it's good to let our listeners know, and people who are following us, to know a little bit about our lives. So if you will grant me that, I am going to just give you a little slice of it. As a child, many nights, I would sit outside late underneath the stars, and I would watch the majesty of the universe. And I truly felt God's love for me. And I'd go outside and I'd sit on the curb and on the steps of our home. And that made me very aware and kind of an awakening of an even higher presence of his love. I knew that he, meaning God, he knew me and he was aware of me, that little girl sitting right on the step. But I also will tell you that I separated understanding of who my Heavenly Father is from my earthly father, as my earthly father was a very harsh man. To his credit, he was a hard worker, an outdoorsman, he loved nature. But he was also an angry man who drank a lot. He cussed and he ruled with a very heavy, hard hand. And he smelled of diesel fuel and liquor and sweat. With my mother, she worked nights, and I was often left for long hours, late hours, at night on the front seat of his truck while he was inside bars at our small town. And it left me very frightened, and I had no protector, no blanket, and really no end in sight. Addictions do run really strong in our family, and it certainly has made its mark in ours. And when I heard my father's truck come down the street to come home, I would race off the safety of the step and the stars, and I'd run for a hiding place. I really never heard from him the words, "I love you" or "I'm proud of you." He never came to any of the events at school or church. He really wanted an invisible daughter, and I did my very best to become exactly that. Now, my mother, she was as scared as I, well, actually probably even me more frightened, but she did her best not to show it. And I looked to her on how to be brave. I looked to her, and I saw that brave was sometimes silence. Don't talk about it. Find something to work on. Just always find something to work on, because work was her therapy. And so it became mine. And she held on to our family to preserve it. She endured to the end. She never gave up. And her life motto probably would have been to, just never give up. That line of belief and that survival. My neighborhood, even though our neighborhood in which we lived, they shunned our family pretty much, and with probably great cause. And even though my learning disorder of dyslexia kept me at the bottom of all my classroom studies, and even though I developed, and I still at times have great social anxiety of acceptance and inclusion, I have learned a few things about this, and it is, this too shall pass. None of us have to stay in our past as strong women unless we decide to stay in our past. And I learned to look outside of my present condition for the examples of life that I wanted and I hoped to actually create as a wife and a mother. So I did not know that within these painful life experiences, that a purpose was being created, was being born, that would carry that passion into such a strong possibility of outcomes and that they would happen. But at the time, I didn't know that at all. The light of love holds its sometimes little tiny flickering candle, but it definitely can pierce the darkness. So my father's embracing the light of love, it came much, much later in his life as really an older man. And the curse of anger had mellowed his very dark side. He came to know once again a more personal Christ love for him. And I came to know and understand the depths of some of his sorrow and some of his demons, really. So our family has been deeply blessed and changed because of a very worthy company with strong principles, values, and a real mission that both my mother and I together fully embraced. After my father's had passed away, I cleaned out his truck and I found it full of country western CDs and music, and I also found a bunch of motivational and training CDs. Yeah. So I sat there for a while, reliving that little girl huddling in a tight ball on cold, dark nights in Idaho, and then the woman that now I had become more confident, successful, and had had the opportunity and the ability and the strong woman sense to build a massive organization that became my family and my friends and my inclusion. So I will tell you that I didn't cry because my father, so late in life, was healed, but I smiled because it happened at all. So I want to see what you guys are talking to me about. Okay, no, I am not seeing a whole lot of comments except for Jerry, and sometimes we have problems with comments. But if you are commenting, I will go back after the recording is all done, and definitely we will chat back and forth. Okay. So the same God that whispered love to me does the same thing without asking for a return. And I would just suggest to all of you, don't hold your love back. It's so important not to hold it back, but love unconditionally. Where you are the most broken is probably where you're going to find your greatest purpose. What wrecks you is also what awakens you. I have very tender feelings about children, and you could probably guess why. Because I think really that they are truly some of the worst victims. My family now is full of children, 13 grandchildren, and also have the privilege of serving and teaching children. But it's been 4 decades of working with women, offering in those decades alternatives from working outside the home that has brought me a sense of purpose and courage. And I have seldom tired of being in service. So my internal side glimpses of that little girl sitting on the steps of her home late at night, looking up at the stars, there she is. Okay, there she is, and she's in most of us. She's in most of us, and we need to support her, and we need to have that unconditional love for her. You know what, you guys? We are not our past, so let's not live looking in that rear view mirror of life. Bring whatever you have to life. Yes, bring your imperfections, bring your addictions, bring your goodness, and let that strong woman meet herself. Now, your experiences can give rise to what the world needs. That's true. Your experiences can give rise to it. Our pain, really, I have found, is never wasted unless we go back to pretending. So no bitterness can give way to what women are best at. And we are best at loving and nurturing. You see, I feel also an unloved life does not mean an unlovable you. The difficult people in our life, and there are many for some of us, need our love the very most. You know, it's always the same thing, hurt people hurt people. So forgiveness, though, is a very powerful force to break the chains that can reclaim a very broken heart. And I've learned that what we cannot forgive is always going to own a little piece of us. We truly are liberated when we forgive. And we also become stronger women. And I thought I really knew what love was. But I will tell you that I was not even close to it until I had children. And that for me was very, very early in my life. I was giving birth to my first child, Jason, at 16 years old. Thought I was in love, but I was very confused, poor, sick, but I was also forgiven. I want to tell you about my nurse in the hospital. I want to tell you about her because this is a remarkable story that I'll never forget. Her last name was on a black badge printed with white printing, and it was Nurse Bartholomew. And I remember it because she was the only one there that had that name badge. All of the other name badges were white with black printing. And she stayed with me the entire 36 hours. It was very difficult birth. And she never left my side, not once, but I never questioned why she didn't leave. She took my hand, she stroked my arms, she massaged my tired back, gave me ice chips for those full 2 shifts. And a month after Jason was born, the realization of her love and service to me was very clear, and I kept thinking about it. And it was pressing on me too. So I went back to the hospital to give her a small, humble array of flowers. But I was told that she did not have, that the hospital did not have anyone there by that name. So I searched again at the main office, and I was told repeatedly that no one had that name, had ever worked there before, nor at any other facility that was invited to come in as a floater. So I know, stunning, right? So I know that there are angels among us, and I know that God is paying attention to our pain and our circumstances. I don't believe our pain is ever really wasted. And if we believe that, it won't be wasted. We'll see opportunities to learn from our pain. After Jason passed away a few years ago, I wondered if she, Nurse Bartholomew, was there to greet him and usher my son back to heaven, just as she had ushered him into life here. After Jason's death, after he passed away, months and months going on, oh, that was such a difficult thing. The pain of just being and just feeling. And I will tell you that the hurt was almost unbearable. Thousands of memories flooded my mind, and even more so, just gripped my heart like a vice grip. It was physical pain. I couldn't even breathe in, breathe out. I couldn't be brave. I couldn't help my family. I could not recover from this out of control, slippery slope of desperation and devastation that was really left behind. And eventually, my work did become a little bit of therapy again. And then my mother's words echoed back to me, find something to work on. Find something to work on. You know, most of us, when we experience immense loss and heartbreak, we never want that heartbreak to be lost. And I would feel that second layer of loss if that were the case. And I know that you would too, right? Oh, good. Thank you for saying something, Akula. I appreciate that. So most of us, when we experience immense loss and heartbreak, we don't want that loss to be forgotten. We don't want it to be lost. We want it to mean something. And here it is that the light of love is there, and it's everything we do. Loss is even a light of love. And also that light of love is in every family member somewhere. Sometimes you have to dig a little deep for it. It's in every friendship. It's in every customer. It's in every chance meeting. But you will see it more if you're looking for it. But you've got to make a conscious effort to look for it. Seeing it changes how you think. It's going to change how you react, and it will definitely change the outcomes of our life. You can encourage healing, and you need to know how to encourage your own healing. But most times you'll find that you can't hurry up your healing. Service, I found, helps so much when I give service. And there is always someone to give service to, an encouragement, a note, time together, an extra hand to help them. People and relationships. It's really our most important asset. And I believe that we as a nation have forgotten much of our most important asset. We women are the ones, we strong women are the ones that can return it. And remember that anytime you demonstrate strength, you get more of it. I believe that. And I also believe that when you open your heart, God can fill it with possibilities and hope as long as you open your heart to it. I can honestly tell you all the time, I can tell you every broadcast how great you are. I can tell you how great your future is. I can tell you how much power that you have. However, until you open up to receive a message like that, it many times will fall cold, cold. So, you guys, you are not your past, and an unloved life does not mean an unlovable you. Forgiveness is so powerful, and it can help you regain brokenness. Definitely regain it. Now, if you've shifted over these last many months that we've been together, or weeks, or however long you've been listening to the Rich Girl series, if you've shifted your thinking on this course, especially about strong women, it does not mean that you've changed the possible. No, it means that the changes the possibilities in you. So we got to agree to a couple things. Now, what we agree to, I'm going to give it to you in a second, though, because I just want to see if I can find us here on our Rich Girl series. And hopefully we're recording in the right place. I mean, that's my hope, right? Okay, so I am still not seeing your comments, but I know as soon as we're done with this, I will. So let's agree to stop doing some things. Let's agree to stop waiting for perfection, or waiting for inspiration, or waiting for permission, or reassurance, or waiting for someone to change, or the right person to come along, or someone to forgive. Let's stop waiting for the kids to leave home, or more favorable or horoscope, or a new administration to take over. For sure, let's stop waiting for that. Let's stop waiting for the absence of risk, or someone to discover you, or a clearer set of instructions. Or let's stop waiting for someone to love and serve you, or more self-confidence, or the pain to go away. Or lastly, let's stop waiting for gaining some sort of a higher sense of security. My strong women friends out there, and you know that I am talking to you, I want to thank you for allowing us, me, each person who comments, even the people who don't comment that just are watching this. Thank you for being a higher part of this journey together. But we're far from finished. Oh no, we got a ways to go, and we're going to go back in some of these past episodes that we've had, and we're going to bring up the golden nuggets in there. So you know that we're going to do that. Okay, because why? There's so much more slumbering in all of us. There's so much more. You are needed in a very fear-filled world right now, very needed. And your love will perpetuate more as you heal the world. And as you heal the world, many of us have kind of gritted our grit against that cold night. Because you, my friends, you are the warm blanket. I'm grateful for you. Thanks for being on Rich Girl. We're doing the Strong Women series. Next week, we're going to be taking a look at some gold nuggets of your comments in the past, and also some subjects we absolutely have got to return to. Okay, you guys, wishing you the very best. Love you so much, and let's rediscover love. Let's look for it. Okay, bye for now. Thanks for joining us.